Hello, welcome to Pub Shed and Home Bar Sessions. This is volume 41. Hello if you're listening on the Ellen Audio podcast, or if you're listening on the separate podcast, the Pub Shed and Home Bar Sessions. Very, very pleased today to say that we have got another home bar and pub shed on the show to have a chat with. It's always good when we do this, really like finding out the stories behind the different bars that we've got on Instagram and across the community and everything. So let's give a warm welcome then to Zoe and Liz of the Lionesses Den. Hello.
Hi.
How are you both doing? Thank you for joining me.
I'm good, thank you. Thank you.
Good stuff. Yes, so the Lionesses Den. You're down in Gravesend, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Brilliant, good stuff. Got that right. And obviously, the first thing that stands out about your bar is the amazing theme that you've got, and that sort of carries all the way through your bar. Obviously, the England Lionesses and the inspiration that they've brought, the nation over the past couple of years. I mean, I've got a little girl; she's loving football, she's proper into it, and it's such a good thing to see. And you're celebrating that with your bar, which I think is brilliant. So, tell us about where this all started for yourselves.
Started with her. So for so long, she's wanted a bar or a pub, more of a pub thing in our garden. Our garden's not that big. Kept saying to her, how big do you think the garden actually is? Anyway, long story short, last year we decided to rent a garage out with the council, had a bit of a battle with them, managed to get one very close to our home. And then that was it. The Women's World Cup was last year. And we decided that was our goal. We were going to get it ready for the World Cup because we were unable to travel to Australia to watch them. So we built a pub in our garden.
Absolutely brilliant, and yeah, it's amazing. You the finish of the pub shed's brilliant as well. So you've both done it yourselves. Have you had a little bit of help as well?
Yeah, it's predominantly us, but I needed my dad. Because we bought this window, so it was literally just a single brick shed. So we got the window. I needed my dad to help me put the window in, and then there was already electric to what was the shed, so it was just sort of tracing more around the room because we knew we were going to need a lot of extra plug sockets in the room. So it was that, the electrics, and then like boarding it out, putting in a false ceiling. So he helped us with that, and then once we were at a room stage, that was it. We did everything else from there.
And it does sort of look and feel. I bet it feels like very much more like a room now than an outbuilding sort of thing.
It does, and I think what makes it even better is because on the outside, we didn't just do the inside; we done the outside. So when you look at it from the house, it looks like an extra building attached to the house as opposed to now this horrible brick shed that was there. So it has created a real good space for us to use.
So you've like cladded the outside of it as well, sort of thing. So it looks completely different from the outside as well as the inside.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I mean, I've got
black as well.
Yeah, I've put some pictures up on the screen as well, actually, because there's some things I thought we'd show people which look really good. I mean, the bar itself and the actual building itself, you've made so much of the space, because I think when we last spoke and we featured you on the Ellen Audio podcast as our sort of featured bar of the week, I think we spoke back then, and it's probably not too dissimilar from my own bar size, really, probably a little bit bigger. So did you say about maybe 8 foot by 10 foot or something like that? Is it?
I only work in meters. It's about 2.1 by 2.7 meters. I haven't got a clue about all the other measurements, but yeah, that's about as big as it is. Not big at all.
It looks great. You've made so much use of the space, and I love the colours in there. Like, it looks proper pubby, like nice, warm, cozy pubby in there. And obviously, you've got that log burning sort of stove effect fire as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Initially, I was trying my hardest to get a proper wood burner in here. It was going to be too much hassle taking it up and out, and we wanted it. We was on a bit of a time frame, obviously, for the World Cup, so it was looking at what's going to be the best option. So it was getting something that kind of looks like a real Well, it is a real flame, but it's a gas fire. But something that kind of was a compromise, really, less hassle.
And I bet it warm with it being a small place, and I find this with my pub shed as well. It being quite small, it warms up pretty quickly, and then obviously because of the work that you've done in there as well, I'm guessing it kind of maintains the heat as well.
Yeah, I'd say about 10 minutes, and then the room is comfortable. Like now, we popped it on like 10 minutes before we come in, and it was absolutely fine to sit in. You know, I've got a jumper on, but I'm just generally wear a jumper, but I'm not cold at all. It's very cozy in there.
Very good, and we can see the pub shed pet enjoys it as well. What's your pet called again?
Millie.
Millie, there she is. She's enjoying it on the sat for the listeners. She's sat on the rug there, right in front of the fire. I bet that's the prime spot for her as well, isn't it?
Yeah, when the fire's on, she hardly ever lays in her bed. That we it's always on her lap or on the floor. So.
Oh, obviously not. Yeah, you buy a bed and they won't get in the bed, but anywhere else but the bed probably. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, did you have before you found everybody on Instagram as well? Had you kind of already got going with all this? Is there any bars in particular that you've seen that you kind of got the inspiration from, or did you get tips or anything like that from people?
No, it was just old pubs, wasn't it? We wanted it to be like an old pub. We didn't want it to look modern and like a bar. We wanted it to be a traditional looking pub. But yeah, we didn't.
No, I mean, we had to look on like Pinterest and had to look at old pubs and seeing what styles, colours. That's sort of my forte. You're more of the builder, can do like the good DIYist. I'm kind of the average DIYist that will give it a go, but I'm more about colours and this goes with this. So all the colour scheme and everything's basically what I found on Pinterest. I don't know, we like dark wood anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just feeding off each other what we wanted. We had a friend, what's his name? It's Luca's Junkyard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so they're not too far away. They're not too far away, are they? I'm guessing. Yeah.
Liz works with him. Obviously, we didn't get inspiration in terms of his style.
Well, we started this before I started working with him. So
okay.
I didn't know this was virtually done, wasn't it? By the time I started working with him. So then it just, once he knew we'd done this and I knew about his, that was it then. It just grew, didn't it?
Was the Instagram page that basically he gave the idea. So
for the Instagram side of things, yeah. Oh, it's brilliant that you found us. So it's great that you bumped into Tristan, because I do. Yeah, Laura and Tristan are brilliant people, and their bar's amazing as well, isn't it? Completely different to a lot of people's as well.
But really cool.
And that's it. And I think the one thing about your bar as well is that you put your personality into it. I love that you've got this really unique and focused theme. You got involved, didn't you, with the Sky Sports thing as well? I remember you telling us the story that did you win a competition?
It wasn't a competition. Well, it was like put your name forward. They wanted some Super Lioness fans for something. Didn't really tell you what it was, but they wanted you to put your name forward, reasons why you're a Super Lioness fan. I can't really remember the ins and outs. There's a couple of questions you had to answer. So I put myself forward, and I think mainly because we built this pub, that was what pushed it into, wow, like actually that's really cool. And that's when it all sort of kicked off from there, really. And then they came and filmed in the garden, which was extra pressure. It's like, oh, got to get it finished for this advert. Ended up being like an advert for Sky Glass. Gave me a free Sky Glass, Sky for a year, paid me, not a crazy amount of money, but the experience, and then obviously met Leah Williamson, which we had no idea about. So it was a very good experience. It was worth doing.
Excellent. And, I think we mentioned it last time we spoke as well, but we have a little sort of thing on the show called Pub Shed Celebrity that we've been doing for a couple of years now. The first one we had was Christian Fuchs, who was a Premiership winning defender for Leicester a few years ago. He appeared in a bar in somebody's bar in America. One of our sheddies in America. So he appeared there, and we've had lots of other people since, like rock stars and stuff like that, turning up at bars, Hollywood actors in some. So yeah, I put forward the idea. Hey, you never know, we could get one of the Lionesses in your actual pub shed, having maybe not a drink with you, because they might be up on the peak fitness and all that, but they might want to pop by.
Gatorade or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but if you got is there any of the Lionesses in particular that if you could have any of those Lionesses pop by your pub shed, which one would it be?
Me personally, it would be Beth Mead, 100%. Yours is more
Mary Oaks.
Mary Oaks.
I'll get Mary Oaks.
Yes, brilliant. Yeah. So do either of you still play football? Do you play football at all?
We both played football. I had to stop age about 23 because I went to uni to do physiotherapy. It was too much to do both. Obviously, I'm there to study, so I had to give. But then I moved towards a sideline and then worked in women's football a few years back as a physiotherapist. My claim to fame is I'm Chloe Kelly's physiotherapist, but she probably won't remember me because she was so little. She was about 14. So, but yeah, we used to play as well.
Yeah, more as a kid, I was massively into the blokes football rather than the women's football. Work for me was what stopped me playing football, and then I only really got into the women's football when I met you. I didn't really know too much about it, and we went to a couple of games, didn't we? But it was nothing like it is now. It's just taken off, which is brilliant. But
yeah,
it was.
My little girl comes home from school and she says, "Daddy, it's not fair. The boys get to play 4 times a week in the playground, and the girls only get once on a Friday." So she's in a bit of a campaign at the minute at school. She's only 6. She's only 6, but she's campaigning to get more football time for girls. So, but that's really good.
I did exactly the same when I was 16. There was no football team at my high school, so I created one. Hounded my PE teacher. It's probably still there to this day, but that's my other claim to fame when I was a kid.
Absolutely brilliant. And our judge Peggy, who's she's actually on the show today, actually in the courtroom, she loves the women's football as well. She takes her daughter and stepdaughter to the matches. Manchester City, but they have a little bit of a thing going on because Mark, her husband, is a Man United fan, but she takes the girls to see Man City ladies, so they've got a little bit of an awkward thing going on there, but no, it's all good that they enjoy the football though. So there we go. So I'm sure Judge Peggy will be listening to this conversation because she does love and is all for obviously women's football and everything. So in terms of the build and stuff, I know that you said Liz, I think you did most of the sort of the sort of practical side of the building, whereas Zoe, you did a lot of the sort of like design type stuff and the look and the feel of it and stuff. What were was there anything that was quite challenging as part of the build, Zoe? Liz, sorry. I keep looking at the names on the screen and getting the long way around. Yeah, that's it.
I think because like we put in proper skirting boards, like big thick skirting boards, and because it's an old brick shed, the walls are not completely straight, they're not completely flush in places, so there was things you wanted to be that would be on a dead straight, and it was on the wall behind the skirting board just wasn't sitting right. And I know these chairs kind of hide some things, but I couldn't have left it. It took a lot of effort, didn't it, to try and get that as flush to the wall, because it was just all over the place because it's a very old shed. But it was really, that was hard. There's like the TV sitting on a solid oak mantle that we bought, and it was just an absolute nightmare trying to get that up on, not so much on the wall, get the brackets in it to get it up on the wall, because you was trying to screw the brackets into it and the screws were just bending and not working at all. So luckily we've got a really nice neighbour with some really good tools that could obviously hear us having a meltdown in the garden. My dad popped his head over and was like, what's going on? And eventually it got sorted, but that was just because of the size of it. That it was so heavy and solid, but it was worth it in the end because it does look really good. Yeah. The look that we wanted, it really, works well.
It really does. I've just put a few more pictures up on screen as well, so you can see the outside of it, which you've done a really nice job on that. And I love the etching, the sort of like sticker or the etches on the windows as well. The 3 lions badges, absolutely love that. And obviously you've got, is it an effect sort of Guinness pump, or is it a working one?
It could work, but it was more because they light up. We initially bought 3. And then they arrived and we were like, it's too big. I think I overestimated the size of the room, and it was, as we were doing things, I was thinking, oh God, I don't know if this is going to work out. And then once the bar went in, it sort of transformed the room, didn't it? It made you realise, actually, yeah, this is doable, but we had to sort of rein it back a little bit with what we could put in here. So
we couldn't fit a keg in here at all.
No.
So we had to make them just for show.
But they were all, the lines are all in them, so they could work, but they won't work in here.
I mean, and the fact you've obviously got a walk behind bar in there as well, which some people who've got the smaller bars tend to go with a like up against the wall bar that you can't get behind. And I sort of dabbled with that idea, but then actually I'm so glad I went for the walk behind, because you do need some, I don't know if you might find it as well, but you do need somewhere a little bit hidden from sight, don't you, for your stock or to stand things on the floor and so on.
Yeah, definitely. And we've had like up to 6 of us in here.
Maximum
occupancy,
it is definitely
a tight squeeze, but by having that bit of space behind the bar, you can have someone sort of back behind there and sorting bits out for everyone. So it works better, I think.
It really does. So what sort of drinks do you usually both like to have? Are you both similar in terms of your tastes when it comes to your drinks, or have you got different tastes?
I think we're both quite similar. We do like a beer. We like a craft beer. We've literally just come back from the Brewdog Hotel in Edinburgh, which is one of our ultimate favourites in terms of beer. We drink a lot of that. You like a Jack Daniels. I like a gin. We're not that fussy, to be fair. No. We're starting to dabble in rum.
Yeah.
We've just had a whiskey experience at Johnny Walker's Prince's Street, and now we've come back with cocktail glasses, and it's made us realise how we were drinking whiskey. It's not wrong. There's no right or wrong way, but there's so many different ways of drinking whiskey, and it's going to end up being a bit of an expensive hobby, but we're going to dabble in whiskey cocktails, and so.
Very good. One thing that you might like the idea of or consider, because obviously your bar's like a very traditional sort of pub, and if you are thinking of having like beer like on tap sort of thing, which obviously you've explained that the kegs are quite big, particularly for things like Guinness. One thing that quite a lot of sheddies have got, I don't know if you've seen before, but this thing here is called a Pints 365 pump. And they are really, really cool. So they are like a bit more like your cask beers that you get in pubs, so like the non-fizzy, but a bit more like, the ones that they sort of hand pull through. And they're really easy because you get your beer in really, like quite compact bags that have got like 18 pints and maybe slightly less, depending on the brewery. And it keeps fresh, and just pull it straight through. The bag shrinks around the beer so it doesn't go off. It's a really good little gadget, that, but definitely worth having a look at. And there's plenty of sheddies who'll be able to advise you on them as well if that's something you fancied for your bar. But there we go.
We've got the Philips Perfect Draft. We've got one of that. That, but because we tend to like sort of put that on if we're going to have people round, because I don't want it going to waste. I want it putting in there, and then I think that's 30 days, isn't it? On that
one?
30 days goes, and there's a lot of it going to waste. So we tend to put that on.
We're having a party.
We're having something going on.
Yeah, and what have your visitors thought when they've come then? What's the first reactions normally when they walk in?
The usual word is wow. Because obviously most people that come here have seen it as a brick shed before, and yeah, they can't quite get their head around what it looks like now. It's completely different. It's crazy.
Yeah, my mum and dad, I mean, considering sort of before it was finished, my dad had seen it at that boarded out dry lines stage, and that was it. He went off, and then we were just left to it, and was like, right, they're going to be the first ones. My mum and dad's round. They couldn't believe it, could they? No. How different it looks, but yeah, it was your dad's next.
Yeah, my dad hasn't seen it in person. He's coming up in March. So that my family, we all live on the Isle of Wight. Well, I don't, obviously. So yeah, he'd be seeing it in March. My mum's seen it. She was pretty impressed. But yeah, my dad will be the next one. I'm sure he'll sample plenty of the beer, and gin, whatever's in it, he'll drink it. So,
have you had any visitors who now you thinking of doing the same sort of thing?
Well, your dad's, he's already got massive
that
barn.
Pump. So he took the third one that was.
He had a touch of FOMO.
Yeah, he turned up and he was like, "Oh, they look really good." So yeah, he's built this barn.
It's massive.
Massive.
Oh, wow.
It. Yeah.
Down the end of his garden.
By himself as well, literally.
Yeah.
And he's, how old was he? 68, 69?
Yeah, he started building it when he was 68, 69.
Yeah.
And it is huge. It's got a kitchen, lounge, massive wood burner, and he built his own bar. So I think he sort of looks, when he comes in here, you can see him sort of
Nabs ideas, you
looking
can see
around.
he's looking. So.
Oh, brilliant. And yeah, on finally, then, 'cause obviously we are Ale and Audio, we spoke about beer, we spoke about the pub shed. What about the music? So obviously when you typically have a night in there, whether it just be yourselves or when your visitors come round, what kind of music might we expect to hear?
So random. It depends what mood we're in, what we're doing. We had the New Year's Eve. We were in here New Year's Eve, and we had an 80s theme going on.
I like the 80s.
80s, 70s. Don't really like all the new music. That's making us sound really old. We're not that old, but yeah, kind of the older stuff. Randomly listening to Madonna.
Yeah.
The other day, now you can't stop playing it. Yeah, it completely depends on what we're doing, what's happening.
We could be sitting here talking. We'll have just random on, and then you sit talking, and then you go, "Oh yeah, I remember that." And then you start, because you've got a little speaker in here, and you start playing it, like just random stuff you've not heard for ages, and then that'll be it. You're just playing loads from a person you've not listened to for ages. But yeah, predominantly I'd say 70s and 80s stuff in here.
Yeah,
good stuff. And you mentioned like New Year and Christmas and stuff. That pesky elf's finally packed its bags and gone as well, hasn't it? I saw that was all over the place, weren't it?
Yeah. That was hard work.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have children, so that we thought, well, we'll try and do something with the pub, make it a bit more fun. Yeah, sat here one night thinking of 25 different ways. I think it's 24, 25.
Yeah, different ideas.
Yeah.
I think we got to 6 and we were like,
oh,
nice.
It was great. It was really creative and yeah, a really good way to sort of showcase the pub shed at Christmas time as well. With it being probably it would have been its first Christmas, wouldn't it? So yeah. Good stuff. Well then, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you both. I've loved it. I really do like your bar. Like I said, the theme, the fact it's such a unique and real standout and inspirational theme as well. Obviously with the Lionesses, really good. So thanks for chatting with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us on.
And obviously, finally, we always ask, what song represents yourselves and or your pub shed, and we'll play it for you.
It's going to have to be Gala, Free From Desire. It was this anthem last summer. We were travelled all around the country at the Euros.
Yeah, summer before for the Euros, isn't it?
It sums up this pub. It sums up us. Whenever it comes on, we crank it up. And yeah, that's probably the song.
Absolutely brilliant. We'll play that for you. For our YouTube viewers, obviously you want to go and check out the full podcast to hear that. But thank you once again, Zoe and Liz. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.